Good YouTube, Quinn Wade, basketball coming to you with basketball analysis, and it's going to be a fun instant analysis on my Boston Celtics ended up beating the Dallas Mavericks again. The Mavericks is what we're going to talk about first. They scored 90 points. They fell short of 100 points again in this game. They ended up getting off to a great start for what they have done against the Celtics so far in the two games. They had 28 points to the Boston Celtics 25. 23 to 29 is when the Boston Celtics started making their run. They played great defense the entire game. They just didn't shoot well from three, and neither did Dallas. And then the Celtics started mixing things up, started getting some cuts, started making some shots, and started making some threes, and they was able to outscore the Mavericks 23 to 29. Then after that, the third quarter just resembled more of the second quarter. Joe Mazzulla sticking with what works and not what doesn't work, and showing you that the Mavericks really can't stop the Celtics and their role players either. And then you ended up seeing the Celtics really hit their stride offensively those second and third quarters, 23 to 29 for Boston, and then that last hurrah was for the Mavericks, 24 to 22, showing you that we can make one more run, we can still compete with you guys. We've got here for a reason type of move by Luka and those guys like Kyrie, showing them that they wanted to pull the upset. Celtics were smart enough to not to let that happen. A lot of steals, a lot of blocks, and a lot of big plays being made by the Boston Celtics to close that game out, just like they did against the Pacers, just like they did against Cleveland, and just like they did against, basically this whole road of a 64-win team. And they only lost twice in this whole entire playoffs. And the Dallas Mavericks don't have any significant injuries, and they still played them very well, especially in the second and third quarter. And the Mavericks really had to go all out to match them. And they kind of fell short of that in the fourth quarter, even though they outscored the Boston Celtics. A lot of their guys was benching and not in it for that whole quarter until it was time to put the Mavericks away permanently, and it allowed them to go home with the victory. PJ Washington continued, he didn't shoot the ball well from three in this game, and neither did he do it in the first game, but he ended up with more points. 17 points plus two and plus minus, three personal fouls, one turnover, one block, one assist, seven rebounds, two offensive rebounds, 4 from the free throw line, 6 of 13 from the field. I feel like he was one of their guys that wanted to defend. He wanted to play a bigger part. He wanted to show that he had Luka and Kyrie back. I feel like he did that for the most part, but you can't expect him to be your third best player. It's just not realistic against a team like the Celtics, though, is basically what I'm saying. Derrick Jones Jr. stepped it up a little bit, 11 points, -5 and plus minus, two personal fouls, one block, one turnover, one steal, two assists. Three rebounds, two of them was offensive, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 4 of 7 from the field. Daniel Gafford had, a big game for his stats. He did get 13 points. He did get 9 rebounds. That's always usually a decent game from Gafford, but he only had one block. He didn't have any personal fouls. He also didn't shoot well from the free throw line, 1 of 4, 6 of 9 from the field. I feel like turnovers really killed this team. 21 points off turnovers for the Boston Celtics. That's way too high, especially in a close game, which it was for a little bit going into the fourth quarter. And they slowly start stacking it up, slowly start building foundation, and they slowly was able to get enough of a cushion to guarantee victory because of the mistakes that the Mavericks continue to commit, and also that counts defensively, not being able to guard guys and giving easy opportunities, and it allowed Boston to be more healthier when it comes to not being as gassed. Porzingis was gassed, and that was really about it because they didn't really have to do much offensively to score, unlike the Mavericks, who had to push and move and slow and do all these different techniques just to get a basket. And it's just crazy what they had to do. Kyrie, another below 20 point slash 30-point game. He only had 16 points today, plus three and plus minus, four personal fouls, two turnovers, six assists, two rebounds, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 0 of 3 from the 3-point line, 7 of 18 from the field. That's decent. And like Luka would say, I let Kyrie down. Kyrie let Luka down, who had 32 points. He kept him in. He played that LeBron 15 type of style, but he just didn't have enough shooting around him, and that team wasn't a championship team, by the way. So you expect them to lose that way, but it made the game more interesting. It made the people wonder, could they do it? And then the Celtics kind of just snapped it back into reality and say, we those guys we've been all season. Yes, we can get it done. We're going against a professional team, so we expect them to be great. But this is one of the problems. One personal foul is all Luka committed. He had 8 turnovers in this game, which is way too much. He almost had a quadruple double because of that. And some of them was careless. Some of them he got stuck. Some of them he was trying to get that pump fake, draw the foul, so he can go to the free throw line, and guys wasn't biting. I knew that wasn't going to work against the Celtics. They're going to study the film. They're going to be ready for that. Kyrie couldn't do it either, and their role players couldn't do it, and it leads to turnovers and fast break points, and it leads to high bricks off the backboard, what leads to semi-transition or full transition, and that's why they had the 21 points and off turnovers. 11 assists though, 11 rebounds. None of them was offensive. 4 of 8 from the free throw line. Luka did not shoot well from the free throw line tonight, and it hurted them early in the game when they tried to build their own lead and they just couldn't get rid of the Celtics. 4 of 9 from the 3 point line, 12 of 21 from the field for Luka. Kleber seemed like he was shying and scared to protect the paint. He seemed like he would concede baskets. Didn't really play well defensively all night, and he also ended with 0 points, +1 and plus minus, four personal fouls, 2 rebounds, 0-2 from the 3 point line, 0-4 from the field. They were lively, had the same type of result, but he didn't foul as much. 1 personal foul. He did have 2 of those turnovers, trying to do a little bit too much in that paint. Negative 15 and plus minus. 7 rebounds, 1 of 3 from the field. Green had some good free throws late there to give a little bit of a shock, but didn't really materialize into anything. 4 points, -10 and plus minus. 2 personal fouls, 1 rebound, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 0 of 3 from the 3 point line, 1 of 4 from the field. Dante Exum made that 1 3 that nobody thought he would make, even though he was wide open because he came out of nowhere. And people was like, yeah, that's that guy that played on so many teams. And he made a play that people will remember probably because it was a shot just to keep the Mavericks in the game and keep them in the game to where they can get the lead possibly. And it was a back and forth lead change thing. +4 in the flip, plus minus, 1 turnover, 1 assist, 1 rebound, 1-1 from the 3 point line in 11 minutes. And Jaden Hardy was scoreless and didn't post a stat, but he was -6 in plus minus, and that's the only stat he'd get out of those 2 minutes that he played. And they shot 47% from the field, 23% from three, 6 of 26. And from the free throw line, they shot 66% from the field. If you're going to turn the ball over that much, and you're not going to make your threes, and you're not going to make your free throws above 80%, you have a huge chance of losing that game. And luckily, it wasn't by that much because the Celtics, honestly, they shot 45% from the field. They only shot 25% from three, even though it was better than their competition. What saved them was scoring off those transition points and 95% at the free throw line. At one point, they was 13 of 13. Then they end the game 19 of 20. That really, really helped them using home court advantage to be calm and be quiet and for them to be able to focus on staying ahead in this game, which they did more in the third quarter, and it got them the results that they wanted. Jason Tatum was kind of hit or miss. 1 of 7 from the 3 point line. He did make his free throws. He was 5 of 6. He did shoot 6 of 22. He was really gunning for some shots. He was really trying to get to the basket a lot. You got to give credit to those guys just moving and keeping him off his balance so he can't finish strong going up when he's going through contention or trying to contort his body to adjust to who's around him so he can go for a finish. They did a great job at that. Teams usually do, but that's why you have a team. And 18 points for Jason Tatum, +6 and plus minus, 2 personal fouls, 3 turnovers, 1 steal, 12 assists. He also had 1 offensive rebound, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 1 of 7 for three, like I said, and 6 of 22 is a whole lot of shots, a whole lot of opportunities. But he stepped up and made the right plays sometimes, and that's how he ended up with 12 assists. And he only had 3 turnovers. Al Horford, 5 points, +1 and plus minus, 2 personal fouls, 1 steal, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. 1 of 3 from the 3 point line, 2 of 4 from the field. He did a great job, and he hit a big three that really stopped him, from having a bad game. But feel like the rebounds is one of the reasons why you should give him a lot of credit because he grabbed a lot of tough ones, and he was very much in that paint for the most part. And he did a great job of telling people where to go gotta give him credit for communication on the floor, especially for defense. Drew Holiday is the MVP of this game. 26 points, plus six and plus minus, three personal fouls, one block, one steal, three assists, 11 rebounds for a shooting guard. 2 of 2 from the free throw line. He did have 4 offensive rebounds, 11 of 14 from the field. He hit the threes in the corner. He made big plays. He cut. He was always moving the ball, always telling guys where to be, always having their back. And he even made his free throws tonight with only 2 of them, but it was important to keep that presence there to tell the guys, I got you. Don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. He mimicking the echoes of Jaylen Brown, but your best defenders have to say that because you're not on the court just to play offense. You also have to play the other side. And I feel like Drew Holiday did a great job of that. Not only that, it was that third horseman named Derek White, 18 points plus 8 and plus minus. He had 2 personal fouls, 1 turnover, but he did have 2 huge blocks on transition, was huge in the ending of the game. He also had 3 steals, which was huge. That's tied with Jaylen Brown for the most this game for the active players, and 2 assists. He had 5 rebounds. He also had 2 of them that was offensive. 2 of 2 from the free throw line, took care of his free throws. He was 4 of 10 for three. He got that jump quick three that's hard to predict when he's going to shoot it, hard to predict when he's going to make it. He missed some early, then he started making some late. You rather have it do that because you win by the fourth quarter. Whoever has the most points is the winner, so he got it hot at the right time. He finished 6 of 15. Jaylen Brown was secondary in this game to me when it comes to MVP of the performances. 21 points, -3 and plus minus, 3 personal fouls, 6 turnovers was his huge downfall. Was turning the ball over a lot because of all the drives and trying to figure out how to get guys the ball and just overthinking a little bit or over dribbling a lot, and it cost a little bit, but the teammates was able to have his back and have him, focus back on by giving him some simple threes. He got some top of the 3-point shots, some corner threes. He was able to score in transition because guys got the steal or the block and they passed the ball up, and he was able to run the lanes and score easy. 2 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 4 of 10 from three, 6 of 15 from the field. 8 of 15 from the field, 1 of 5 from three, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, and he only had 2 offensive rebounds, 7 assists, 4 rebounds total, and 3 steals. Great game for Jaylen Brown. Got his numbers kind of confused with Derek White. Sam Hauser did have 2 points. He didn't shoot the ball well at all. He was 0 for 5. All his attempts was 3. Some of them just wouldn't go fully down. Some of them just didn't hit at all. But in his 10 minutes, at least he was aggressive. At least he was looking for a shot. At least he did score 2 points, and it was from the free throw line, and he took advantage of that. He was a +1 and plus minus. He did have 1 personal foul. And Kristaps Porzingis had another great game. It wasn't the game that he had in game one, but it was enough to show that he can protect the rim still. He can still knock down shots. He don't have to play again until Wednesday, so he should be healed up for the next game. He's showing that he's an important part of this team being successful and winning because it's two-way play. 12 points, plus 12 and plus minus, 2 personal fouls, 2 blocks, 1 assist, 4 rebounds, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 0 of 3 from the 3-point line, 4 of 7 from the field. And Peyton Pritchard hit a 3 going into the fourth quarter at the buzzer, and that cushion gave a 9-point lead to the Celtics, and that's better than having a 7 or a 6-point lead. So we'll take that. It showed that he made the right impact, and it got them hype. It let them know that they still had a little bit more to do, and that's what that shot, got the crowd talking, got the team talking. You still got to close it out, and they did. +4 and plus minus 3 points, 1 steal, 2 assists, and 1 offensive rebound, 1 of 2 from the 3-point line, 1 of 2 from the field, and the rest of the guys didn't play. Coach's decision, and it was a great decision because he played the guys that made the most impact, and that's all you really need to do if you're trying to win. And I feel like this game was showing you how hard it is to beat the Celtics. Like, you have to literally put all your effort in to trying to find a way to manipulate the game so that you can score. And if you can't do that, you're going to have a hard time winning against the Celtics. It's just tough to do. Scoring and defending for 48 minutes, and you have to bring your A game because this Celtics team can get hot from three. They got some of the best shot makers in the game. Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and those guys can break you off individually. They can get to the paint. They can dunk on you. They can shoot their free throws. They can hit contested shots, and they literally have great role players that can space. Horford, Pitcher. You also got Sam Hauser. You got Derek White, and then they just come to you with size. Luke Cornett is a 7-footer that can rebound and protect the paint. Kristaps Porzingis, and they hit you with Horford, which is a switchable guy that can keep everybody at home and forces you to not be able to trust on your guys as much because you rather carry the load on your back and play a little bit hero ball and get those guys out of whack. Like Jason Kidd has been playing a lot of weird lineups, trying to find out who's short enough, who's tall enough, who's quick enough, who's fast enough to cover these guys while we still trying to get baskets. Like I said, this team hasn't scored 100 points yet in the NBA Finals, and we're 2 games in. Now we have to see what they're going to do in Game 3 and Game 4 because there's not much to do after Game 1. When I looked at what they was running, what they was doing, it was just Jason Kidd getting the best out of this team for the most that he could and just living that we got far and we dominated the best way we could. Matchups made it perfect match for the Mavericks to make this type of run. And when you have great players that can make shots and make plays that you can't coach or you can't tell, they just do it themselves. You kind of have to live with that result, kind of like that 15 Cavs team they'll bring up. Kind of have to just live with the guy, Luka Doncic, just working his magic, doing what he can do, keeping the eyes on him, and just playing big and huge. But he did that tonight, and then he forgot he's not a great defender, and neither is Kyrie. And this team is huge. Everybody's 6'5" or higher, basically, that the Celtics are starting. And that combo, wombo, wonky, junky, herky, jerky style that they like to play. Let me run, dribble, 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 run, dribble, 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 just to get an open shot or enough space or separation to knock down the shot. That's not the type of style you want to live with when they can run so fast, so quick, and hit threes just as good as you and defend better than you. And these guys look tired. Like, I got to do all this just to get a basket is basically what the Dallas Mavericks are saying. We're not really getting that many threes. We're not really getting that many open shots. We're getting contested shots with guys running at us. And if we not, we got our star players making tough shots or missing tough shots because that's all that's available. And I want to say there's no help for you. It's only you got to get defeated that way. And they didn't live by the three and die by the three. They just have to live by that style of having a franchise player that like the ball in his hand and he likes to live with that result that I'm great enough, I can do it. And it usually never works to let you Wilt Chamberlain. And he had enough help on those teams for it not to work in that case because he didn't have to have that type of effort with those teams that won titles. So is that hero ball style doesn't work, that your player dictates everything usually doesn't never work when it comes to winning championships. And Luka has to either break that out of his game completely and learn how to play off the ball and learn how to commit more to the defensive end so that way they can respect him on that end when they get more talent. Or this team could just be one of those teams where they're the Oklahoma City Thunder or these other teams that get there and they don't get back or they go separate ways. One star is just Ronald, so it usually be Kyrie because he's the older one by a decade. So once you lose him, it's just like losing to Jalen Brunson. You're going to feel like you can get another guy to go with them that can get back to the playoffs. Then it starts to become, you have Porzingis, you had Kyrie. What are you really trying to do with this team? And I felt like that for the last 5 years. If you look at the team that you're building every year with Luka, you look at Luka and say, this guy is great. This guy can make plays. This guy can play just like a carnival. And the thing that's sad about it is that's the guy you're coming to see play. You may also come to see him play and lose. Other than that,